Welcome back to D&D in the World of Terra. I am Arkor Jason, your DM for today. Joining me, as always, is Bobby playing Grim the Cleric.
Good morning.
We got George playing Meidrax the Sorcerer.
Howdy.
And Lex playing Shae the Warlock.
Hi guys.
Unfortunately, Phen, played by Adam, will not be able to join us today. He might get in later in the game, we will see. Otherwise, he is going to take care of his first day in Grensmotte with me on the side somewhere. Here's what happened previously on D&D.
Grimm's Log. I don't know how to do dates in Terra. So, things in Baytown sort of washed out. Turns out it was going to get wiped off the map one way or another. And it turns out our good buddy Xander was a spy. And now we might be spies too? I don't know if we're actually working for him. I don't know. We still have to figure that out. He talked about some interesting things, veils, great ones. Great ones is? Greatest one? I don't know how that would work. Note to self, edit that out of the log later. So we decided to go north, find the dwarves, and deliver Roken's letter. And on the way, we stopped in Grensmotte. Nice town. Crowded? Not sure if I like that yet, but the food is great. There's really cool stores in town. Really nice place to stay. I guess now we'll go wander around, see what we can find, and try to get that letter delivered.
Okay, that and more happened previously on D&D. But yeah, you wake up your next day at Tessa's tap room in Grensmotte. What do you do?
Do they have coffee here?
Probably not.
Okay.
I don't know. Is coffee a thing in D&D? I don't know.
Oh, coffee's a universal thing.
They for sure have tea.
Okay.
Well, coffee isn't that high tech, right?
It's really just a highly caffeinated tea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably some sort of monster that just destroyed all the coffee crops of the world.
No.
Oh, that's harsh.
Or one of the great plagues. That's potential.
That's the one we have to kill.
Yep. That's our quest now.
And find a drink that's actually good.
We'll drink his blood in the morning.
It will be bitter.
Grim is going to get breakfast because the food here is fantastic.
Food here is very good, yes.
I mean, especially compared to everywhere I've been so far in life, this is funny. Everywhere we go, the food gets better. Now Grim's kind of looking forward to the next town as he chews on delicious bacons. Oh, shit. Did I want to change up any spells this morning? I'll look that over while you guys order breakfast.
Just order some piping hot tea and a little bit of eggs.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few people here. Not terribly busy. Not like last night where it was bustling, but certainly some of the people who have been staying here are down eating the small bowls of porridge or other fancier meals. You don't see Tessa, and the bartender is a different person, as are all the serving personages. Yeah, just a fine, drizzly morning in Grensmotte.
So, what's the plan? You all had talked about moving on today.
Moving on. No, I want to spend some time here.
Yeah.
I'll look at the shops and all that.
Yeah, I would definitely like to visit the temples or shrines. Do we have a server? Can I ask a question of them?
I mean, there's someone walking around, yeah.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Meidrax Nexmonis with the Jewelers Guild of House Labara. If you have any jewel crafting, jewelry repair, or gem cutting needs, I'll be in town for at least today.
Just kind of looking around a little wildly. Like, okay.
But I do have a question. Are there any kind of proving grounds or arenas here in town?
What do you mean?
He's looking for a fight club.
Essentially.
Oh, no, I don't think so. There's some training.
Grim's getting good at translating Meidrax.
There's some places where some of the guards do their training and whatnot, but I don't think there's no like fighting pit or anything.
Where would the guards train?
She says there is a yard by the guardhouse, and she'll kind of explain to you where that is.
Okay. Thank you very much. So should we all stick together today or just walk around town as we please?
I don't do well in crowds alone.
Okay. Well, we can just explore, I suppose.
I'll go where you want. After breakfast, I've pretty much got what I want out of today, so I mean, obviously we'll want to stop for lunch, but...
Does anyone have something that they really want to visit?
Well, I would like to go to the shrines for Jet and Farrell, and also check out the Smiths and that Emporium that was mentioned, Minerva's Menageries.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
And Meidrax will lower his voice and say, perhaps find a different inn. This one is a bit expensive.
But I
One
like
with
this inn.
food.
I'm sorry?
We need one with food.
Yes, I agree.
But I like this inn.
Maybe we just need to find some income then.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Somebody in town must need some heroing.
A harrow in.
I don't do drugs.
Howard, I roll.
I'm just here for when you guys actually decide to do something. That's.
Yeah.
Are we done with breakfast? Has anybody seen Phen?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Where are the elves?
Nice.
You don't see them.
You and those elves.
They have Phen.
Phen is clearly sleeping in the room.
You think Phen could be abducted by two skinny elves? Two skinny tourist elves. Two skinny tourist artsy hippie elves. They're in town for the show, man.
I don't
They're
believe
probably
this for a
sleeping in
second.
too.
Not
Shae
to
was,
mention, I saw him lying upstairs
Yeah.
in bed.
I was gonna say, was Phen still under the blanket when you left the room?
Yes. I double checked.
It wasn't a pillow?
No.
A tiny, tiny pillow?
He's not that squishy.
I think he actually shared a room with Grim, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I checked anyway.
Okay.
That's good, because I didn't even notice he was in my room. I was hungry.
I still got the shards of the sword from my friend back in Baytown. You
Shards
think
of
we should?
Narsil?
Right. We can call it Narsil if you want. I don't care. Should we try and put them back together? Have the smith do it?
Why wouldn't we? You like it? I mean, we're gonna need more money. Eventually.
What is it with you two and money? Don't you have money?
Yeah, but we're also spending money and not making money. So eventually money we have will be money we wish we had back.
I have so much money.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe today's on Shae.
No, that was out of character. That was out of character. Yeah, I think first we have to maybe make the sword shards not evil.
Oh, that's probably... I can remove a curse. You think that'll do it?
I don't know. Would that do it?
You think it's cursed or intrinsically evil?
I don't know, man. It's a sword that messes you up when you touch it. So
See, I could remove curse and protect it from evil. Wait, I think I can only do that to a creature.
you want to protect it from itself?
Exactly.
It's not a teenager, as far as I know.
Well, as far as evil swords go, maybe. Maybe it's not evil. Maybe it just has hormones coursing through its young body and it doesn't understand these emotions it's experiencing.
You're right. We shouldn't jump to
Slashing out.
conclusions here.
No, you're probably right. It's probably evil. Let me lick it.
Okay. And I hold open the pouch and that has the shards in it.
Yeah, just one little shard. I don't need to taste a big one.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. I am not touching it.
I have gloves on.
There are 3 about 4 to 6 inch pieces of this kind of broken obsidian, and a couple other slivers,
I also have the handle.
and the handle. Yeah.
We're gonna take a little like a little Dorito from the bag, look it over, kind of smell it.
It looks like opaque black glass.
Dragon glass.
It looks pretty though.
That is pretty. It doesn't smell like anything, and it certainly doesn't smell evil. All right. So this is where everything goes horribly wrong, guys. Ready? Grim touches it to his tongue.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity save? Uh-oh.
Well, you are sticking your tongue into sharp shards of
No.
obsidian.
See, I would have done it against the flat edge. Grim might be foolish, but he's not stupid. Wait, I might have that backwards. He is a little stupid, but not foolish. Put it in my mouth, kind of swish it around. That would be a dexterity save of 9.
You take 1 point of damage as you slice your tongue open.
Ow! Fuck. Well, I'm not sure if evil, but it is definitely fucking sharp. Here. Drop it back in the bag.
How do you feel?
I feel like I got a paper cut on my tongue.
Well, if that's the worst of it, then I wouldn't call the sword evil. Maybe the evilness has seeped out.
Maybe.
Maybe it's gone.
Could be evil again once it's put back together, though. You never know.
We could talk to the clergy at the Jet Shrine. It is for crafters, and if we're talking about reforging this, they may be able to help.
Not a bad idea.
Good point. Yeah. All right, first stop there. You want
I'll
to go
high-five
already?
Meidrax. Actually, I'll stick my hand up like I'm going to high-five Meidrax.
He looks at it questioningly.
Never mind. Good idea.
You don't leave a man hanging. I high-five you.
Woo!
Teamwork. Well, if we're done with breakfast, shall we head out then?
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Just leave a post-it note on Phen's forehead.
Teeny tiny post-it note.
How much do we owe for this meal?
Not enough to care.
Okay. I will keep all my coins then.
It'll probably just be part of your day, or part of your the money you spent on the room.
Breakfast is included with the room.
Yeah.
Nice. This is a pretty good inn, though.
Oh, it's the best
Yeah,
inn.
it's the-
The best inn anyone's ever made for D&D ever, for any reason. Alrighty then. So you step outside, and it's kind of a dreary day. The various banners are kind of waving in the wind. There's some pennants here and there, little like multicolored flags, kind of just strung up between buildings. The signs are kind of creaking as the wind blows through town. It's drizzling. There's a little bit of there's some mud puddles here and there. The center of kind of the roads in the town are a little bit higher. They have a bit of a crown to them, so that the water isn't pooling at the center. It's kind of pooling to the gutters and the sides, and in front of buildings and whatnot. As you walk out now in the light, you see a little bit more of a uniqueness to the architecture. Like each building is a little bit. They're not haphazardly made. It's more like they don't follow an exact specification of creation. It's more this building was kind of made for this building, and this one next to it's a little bit different in how it was fashioned. So there's a little bit of a pop to everything. You see signs for various goods, the same signs that I read off to you the other day, the one for the armor and the sword, the one for that looks like it has herbs and like a little bottle of liquid painted on it. You also notice that sign is actually in the shape of a mushroom, which is something you didn't notice before in the dark, and now in the light you can actually see that the wood carve of the sign has like, it almost looks like a better proportioned Mario mushroom, so it's like got the little white the circles, but they're not painted. Only the symbols on the sign are painted, and the sign says in like gold filigree M. As you kind of walk out into the middle road and look down one of the paths, you also see down the way a little bit what appears to be a mostly metal building, stone foundation, little bits of stone here and there, but a lot of like metal shack kind of bits to it. It's got like 3 or 4 chimneys, and they are all pouring smoke into the rainy day. Outside of that shop is a what looks like almost like a ship's wheel at first, and then you realize that no, you've seen this kind of stuff before. It's a gear, a big wooden gear, except when you actually look closer, it's not wood painted to look like a gear. It's actually a large like metal gear that's rusted slightly in the rain. It's just hanging from a sign haphazardly.
So that's probably the smith.
I think you would presume that the one with the armor and the weapons on the sign is the smith, but only because I'm reminding you that that's there, not necessarily because she would presume that.
Or maybe there are 2 smiths though. Okay.
And you do know where the guardhouse is, because she would have pointed that out to you. That's down past the place with the gear.
Okay. Is that then maybe the temple? A temple or something?
Yes, but you did not ask where it was. Nor do you know.
Did you mean the gear shop metal joint?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. You want to go and
Are
check
there
it out?
any passersby?
No, the streets are fairly empty, possibly because it's early and there's the rain. You know, it's not intense, it's still there.
Well, if we're doing a shopping day, let's just have a look, and I'll go into that metal building.
It's just a couple buildings down from the one with the mushroom sign. And as you walk past the one with the mushroom sign, it has lots of windows that are kind of like slightly frosted. There's, kind of a dull yellow glow of, candlelight or lamplight or whatever coming through them. Every once in a while, you see a little shape flit past the window as you're walking. And kind of as you look through the window, unless you press your face up to it, as you look through the window, you can kind of see this slowly, like, it seems like light in the background is changing from green to kind of blue and purple. It's hard to perceive at first because it's slow enough, but you do kind of notice that as you walk past.
Oh, we're definitely going to check out that store as well.
Okay, you get to the
Pretty lights.
store with the gear out in front of it, and you open the big heavy iron door, and it's almost like opening like a ship's bulkhead door. It's like a solid 8 inches thick, but it doesn't squeak, and it's not hard to open. It opens like perfectly. You enter a room that smells like grease and like engine grease and oil and fire or burning things.
Fire.
This is the one with the cog on the sign,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Or the sign is actually just a big cog.
Okay.
There are kind of like not a haze that hangs in the room, but the remnants of like smoke that has gotten into this room, or possibly from a fire that has started in this room, kind of hangs and clings to the air. As your eyes adjust to the inside, you see that there are lamps. It's kind of brighter than you were expecting in here. There are lamps on support beams, and they appear to be fireless. They appear to be glass bulbs, or like almost like potion vials with metal prongs inside of them. And every once in a while, you'll see like little like electricity or like lightning zap between the little prongs, and they're shedding bright light into the room.
Some sort of metal witch's lair.
Indeed.
Obviously priests of Mars.
I cast mage armor.
The entire place is filled with this kind of dull hum, and the walls are a cacophony of gears and tools on like essentially like pegboards. There's little mechanical and clockwork things here and there. There's big suits of armor hanging from massive hooks on the back wall. They don't look like armor you've ever seen before because they're not complete. They just look like, how to describe this? They look like incomplete suits of heavy iron that one would wear around oneself instead of like being inside it like a normal suit of armor. And they don't look like knights or anything like that. They look like almost look like some weird amalgamation of farm equipment and adventuring armor, I guess.
I lick one.
The medieval Iron Man suit.
Just something near you, or the big suits at the far end?
The suits.
It turns out those are behind a large metal counter that actually has like an iron fencing like between you and it, almost like a like the pawn shops in bad neighborhoods. Like essentially like a chain link fence.
Hello?
And after a moment, you realize why the fences may be there, as something, a little quadruped clockwork device scales across, almost like the Mario crossing over those weird chain link fence things in Super Mario World, where you just kind of climb sideways and you can punch the Koopas through it. It kind of crawls across like that. And you notice that there are actually, now that you've seen that, you notice movement in a lot of corners. All these little clockwork quadrupeds of varying sizes kind of moving around various places.
Meidrax looks very paranoid and says, I think we should leave. They're everywhere.
I'm with you.
Who are everywhere? What's up?
They're in the room. They're in the fucking room.
Metal spiders.
Yeah, Meidrax leaves.
They do kind of resemble spiders. It's basically just an orb at the center with little legs, with 4 legs coming out. They go up and then come down to points.
Meidrax is out of that building.
Okay.
Ushering Shae behind him.
What are we concerned about? This is just a shop. Why would there be a dangerous shop? Why would there be a dangerous shop in the middle of town?
Why
Guys.
wouldn't there be?
In fairness, I mean, if any shop is going to be dangerous, it's going to be this one. But
Did you see the giant metal spiders? Since when have spiders ever been
they
good?
were smaller than cats.
Still, giant for a spider.
They kind of look cute, but okay.
There were some chipmunk-sized ones and like some squirrel-sized ones.
Cute. Yeah,
Oh.
obviously they're growing into adulthood still.
There was one that was sorting through.
Oh,
Yeah,
are these little baby robot spiders?
I mean, you don't know anything about robots, but
Oh, we do now. They're
Yeah.
scurry.
there's one as you're leaving that's like got little like claws on its front, and it's sorting through like some screw, like a bin of screws or something. Every once in a while, it'll pull one out and kind of like and kind of eat parts of one and then put it back in the thing.
I wave at one of the spiders. See what waves back. Oh god, that's adorable. Okay, no, I'm staying.
It's the one eating the screw because it has 4 legs and a little and 2 of them have little like clampy claws on the front.
Excuse me. Hello?
You hear from the back, and then
Grim jumps.
some smoke starts coming through. Is Grim still inside?
Well, he's not going to leave Shae here. He's just standing by the doorway going,
What is she still doing in there?
There's
Should I fireball?
they're metal, dude.
Oh, shit.
I imagine you're trying to you're like trying to look through the window.
I got nothing. We gotta run. Yeah. Snout pressed up against the glass. Like, why are you in there? Say run.
Thick black smoke starts to tendril around the door in the back, and then the door opens and a plume just kind of like goes up, and 2 fans kick in. And you just hear, and the smoke gets pulled up and out through one of the chimneys.
As soon as the fans start, Grim pulls out mace and grips shield really tight because he knows a fight is coming.
You don't see anyone though. You hear a little bit of clamoring and not a little bit of swearing. And
I cast the invisibility.
are you
Should we come back later?
outside? Like what? I don't know where Meidrax is.
I'm outside with my snout pressed up against
Okay,
the.
I'm gonna need a
He's
perception.
making snot trails on the glass.
You need a perception check because it is a thickly like smoked over and like hazed window.
Yeah. 9.
You can barely even see Shae or Grim.
I will throw open the door and stand in the doorway.
Okay.
Grim spins around, like, on the defensive, ready to strike. But then he sees you and spins back around.
As you look towards the back, you hear a little bit of like moving and what sounds like a step, and all of a sudden a white tuft appears, like some sort of fluffy creature is getting up onto the counter, and then it continues to go, and it's the wild and crazy white tufts of hair mixed with a little bit of what looks like recent singeing, and then a gnome face pops up over the desk as a gnome climbs a small ladder to get up to the desk.
The witch has shrunk him!
Big goggles make his eyes look huge and out of place. They're kind of like steampunky goggles, and they've got little other lenses that can kind of be moved and dropped in. He's wearing like heavy leather bits that kind of look like a cross between a blacksmith and like some sort of adventuring armor.
Grim sees the gnome and looks around and realizes they're not being attacked and gets embarrassed and tries to put the mace and shield away without anybody noticing.
He says,
So,
What are you doing?
are you interested in all the mechanics? Are you here to learn? Are you here to buy?
Hi, we're new in town, and we saw your shop, and we've never seen something like this before. At least I haven't. What do you do around here?
I invent things. Great things to help people. And to kill people. Not always on purpose.
he's very quickly kind of drumming his fingers across the desk. Every once in a while he twitches.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Every third twitch is accompanied by like little like electricity going up through like pieces of his hair, like.
Grim's
Are,
concern grows back a little bit, and I pull the shield out.
are you okay?
He points at Grim and says,
Good choice. Metal is an excellent conductor.
Grim's eyes just get wide because he has no idea what that means, but it can't be good.
he says,
Are you a witch, little one?
Do I look like Minerva?
I do not know Minerva.
No, she's very tall. Hair is less white. Not so much a gnome. Also magic.
What are these contraptions?
Machines. Great and small.
Meidrax, like, mouths the word like it's totally alien.
I mean, and it wouldn't be. I mean, anyone who's been to a city has seen the airships, and I mean,
Oh, I totally forgot about all that. I'm sorry.
yeah, engineering is a thing. It's not as alien as it's actually probably. I don't know the true expanse of it in like Tal'Dorei. I'm just trying to pull from what I know you know, but certainly like guns are well known. Engineers are a thing. Just because I haven't finished making the class doesn't mean they don't exist.
Okay.
Although I do have them up to level like 7 or 9 or something like that. But, I mean, a shop like this is maybe a little bit still something that you've never explored, but you've probably seen more in the lines of like mechanical cranes and airships. You've probably not seen much in terms of like walking robots or like other battle machines or that kind of stuff. You've maybe heard of them, and I would allow checks to see how much you know. But this isn't like crazy witchcraft to you.
Do you have anything that would
Maybe unexpected here, though. I'm sorry. Sure.
help an? Do you have anything that would help an adventuring party?
Yeah.
And he leans down and he pulls out what looks like a large, well, you've seen rifles, a large rifle. But I want you to imagine that this is the like 5th tier, super like ramped up like M4 kitted out with like scope and like grenade launcher and like this is when you are at the end of Saints Row 3, rifle. And he puts that on the desk. And he said,
This will kill an orc.
and he looks around and he says,
Like an evil one, not a good one. It'll kill the good one too, but you shouldn't do that. You should be careful. Let's not.
and he takes it and puts it back under the desk.
Let's not start there. What kind of help do you need?
Twitches.
Do you have anything that tracks, that can hunt?
He says,
Oh yes, the little ones can sometimes do it, depending.
and he points up and kind of like up and behind you, and you look back on the back wall. There's about the size of a like a small cat is a little walker, and it's stuck to the back wall and with its back legs like kind of like hooked on some like fencing or like a pegboard or something, and its front 2 legs are kind of aimed forward like it's gonna pounce on you, and it's kind of waiting, and its front 2 legs are like little stilettos. And said,
Yeah, they can follow real well.
Alright. Well, Meidrax will come down from his alertness and walk over to the gnome and say, I'm sorry, my name is Meidrax Nexmanus with the Jewelers Guild of House Labara. And you are?
I am Fizwick. I had a last name, but it blew up. I didn't name the store, but they call it the Follies and Fancies. I sell machines.
They?
And ideas.
Ooh.
he gets kind of a look of whimsy and kind of looks away for a minute, and it snaps back at you guys and goes,
So, do you want to buy anything?
You have good ideas?
Well, I personally am just walking around town, getting to know the place. My friends, though, may want to buy something. One of your terrible creations.
Everything Grim sees confuses and frightens him.
So I'll be dealing with the lady then. All right. Yes, ma'am. What can I get for you? Black powder? I have plenty of black powder. A little less now, but plenty.
Do you have anything for protection, maybe? How's that?
He said, Well, the bigger ones can act like guard dogs.
and he points, and you see what looks like you've seen is it MIT's little cheetah robot, the one that like bounces on the 4 legs. It looks like that, but more steampunk, less like weird and bulky. kind of a little bit flat in the main body, no head or anything like that, just kind of an amalgamation of gears and like a rectangular prism shape with 4 big bulky legs coming out, and the legs look like they kind of each have like a pauldron on it. The legs end in what look kind of like Warhammer spikes. They're not like stiletto blade spikes. They're a little bit thicker, and they're just kind of sitting there. They don't look like they're necessarily wound up or moving or anything like that. But he does point to one and says, "Those will follow you around and, attack your enemies, defend your friends. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Great with kids. Bigger kids, not so much the little ones. Don't get it near the little ones."
Right, sure. It's a bit conspicuous to me, though.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you have anything that might attract less attention?
You hear another boom from the back corner.
Yeah, no, not really what we do here.
I figured.
He thinks for a moment. He says,
I have something that I invented.
and he takes it out. He reaches through some things. He takes out a bin. He starts sorting through it. Kind of throws a couple gears and cogs and like wires and whatnot. And he pulls out what looks like just like a little metal box about 1 foot long, maybe about an inch deep, and maybe like an inch wide. And he sets it on the table. It looks like it has little striation patterns across it, almost like metal plates kind of welded together to form this shape. And he says, "This right here could protect you, if you're any good with it.
Well, what is it?
It's a shield. What? I mean, come on, you guys act like you've never seen any of this before."
I don't hang around shields very much, no.
Grim glances down at his own shield and looks over at that thing and back at his shield and kind of squints.
He says, fine, I'll show you how it works.
And he reaches out, and like as he kind of gets halfway there, he gets very slow and careful, and he kind of starts leaning back away from it, and back away from it, and then he presses the top of it, and the shield, it goes and unfurls all the little layers, and it forms a perfect disc, like instantly.
Now that's cool.
That is cool.
So it's about 2 feet radius, or total across. So nice little shield.
Said, see?
That's impressive.
Now you can just carry it around anywhere.
How much is that?
I'd say I could let that one, the prototype, go for 150 gold.
Grim chokes.
Wow, that's a lot. How much would a non-prototype one be?
Like 300 gold once it's galvanized and gilded up.
It looks like fine crafting, but it is a little too expensive for me.
He pokes at it, and it doesn't retract. Then he pokes at it a couple more times, and finally it goes shwoop back into itself.
So it sticks a little bit.
Well, you have a lovely shop here, and great inventions, truly from a very impressive mind. But
He's nodding sagely. Yes.
I think we'll keep looking around for now.
All right. Well, when you come back, maybe I'll have more out, and you can look through that too.
Looking forward to it. And I push Grim out of the door.
I have a couple of questions before we leave. Do you have some sort of extended staff? Perhaps one that's small and becomes larger?
He says, "Yeah, of course I have an extendo staff."
And he goes through the same tub, and he's looking around, and he pulls out what looks like a scroll tube with a little button on it. And he presses the button, and both sides shoot up, and it's basically a metal quarterstaff that tapers off slightly as it goes. It's basically in like 1 foot sections.
And how much would that be?
For this one, again, it probably sticks a little bit. It's been in the box for a while. 60 gold?
I want it. I want you to know I want it, but it is too expensive for me. Since I am so low on money and or coin, and I enjoy your craft so much, if you hear of any jobs or know of any, please let me know. We are staying currently at Tess's tap room.
Oh, you're looking for work?
Yes.
I have work. If you're good with your hands and willing to lose fingers. You think he meant to cough at a different point in time during that?
Okay, Fizwick. I don't enjoy losing fingers, but I'm decent with my hands.
So I'm just going to need you to roll a new character.
Yeah.
Because that's how Meidrax dies. No, he says, well, if you're not willing to lose fingers. And he taps his hand against...
I said I don't like losing fingers.
He taps his hand against his face, and for the first time you see that he's not wearing gloves like you thought he was. He's actually got a mechanical... His right hand is mechanical. And he taps it against his lip. He says, if you were to find any marvels of machination, I would be very interested in looking at those, and could pay you for your time. And any, working in legible blueprints, obviously.
Pay? This is just what we were talking about this morning, guys.
Interesting.
But I don't want any of that frilly stuff from Darum. I mean, I know how to make all of that.
What about Dernhast?
Nah, too rudimentary.
Dernhast is too rudimentary. I kept at least one of the mortars.
If you did, then yeah.
Okay. I mean, I wanted to keep one. I have them all written on my sheet, but I imagine I left the majority of them with Lieutenant Webb.
Okay, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you kept one, then you kept one.
I will put it down on his little counter. And have you ever seen anything?
Part of the counter opens up and rolls back he can reach through and scramble for it and bring it to his side.
Oh, okay. Watch my fingers.
Snapshot.
Have you ever seen anything so delicate and destructive?
He says, it's just a tube, but, it's nice, I guess. It's light. It's small. You need the right ammunition for this. You could mount this on something and destroy lots of things.
That's what happened.
Or plow a field.
Have you heard of the attack on Baytown?
What's at Baytown? As he's looking through looking across the thing.
Baytown is a town to the south in Darun.
Doesn't sound right. And he's kind of like rolling it over in his hands. He's flipping things back and forth. Any movable parts he's playing with.
Well, to be fair, it was a town to the south. Yeah.
He says, I like this well enough. I can give you 10 gold for it?
I deeply appreciate the offer, but it's not for sale or trade.
He kind of clutches it to himself for a moment. He says,
Why give it?
15 gold? Final offer.
It is not for sale or trade.
Bah. Puts it back in the thing, and it rolls over to your side. Or the thing that opens rolls to your side. And he
snatch it quickly before he can close it on my hand.
He says, hard to do business when you can't sell.
Yes, well, whomever crafted it is a quarry of mine.
He says, the craftsmanship isn't that great. Anyone with half decent ability could do it. It's miniaturization of the warhead that's important.
Do you know of anyone that could do that? Besides, of course, yourself.
He was going to definitely say him. He said, probably other engineers and machinists. I mean, maybe not the ones who do the mass production for the military, but those of us into other things. You hear something clatter in the front of the store, and he looks over, and the little robot with the clampy claws has its hands in the air like, my bad. And just scuttles away.
Well, Fizwick, I appreciate your time. And I hope that we can do business in the future.
He says, come back when you have the coin.
Will do. And I leave.
Yeah, Shae is leaving too.
Part of me wants him to be like, hey, stop there and empty your cheek pockets. It's clear that Shae has something in her mouth. He wants his bits back.
Oh, snap. I didn't ask him where the shrine was. I poke my head back in and say, hey, Fizwick.
You don't see him. He's not still at the counter. So he might be in the back now.
Dang it. I'll close the door and let's move on.
Give me a perception check. Oh, no, I guess passive. I don't have... Oh, shit, no. It's just passive perception. Where's your thing? Sorry, I didn't grab my cue cards. Yours is terrible. I knew that. Let's see what Shae's is.
Horrible.
Also terrible.
Grim, out of the corner of your eye, you see, as he opens the door and then shuts it again when he doesn't get any response, you see a tiny little walker, no more than like a chipmunk in size, little four legs, just kind of scuttle out of the building and start going around the corner.
Grim kind of shivers and not really disgust, just he's weirded out.
Okay.
Did you guys see that?
See what?
He is a very weird little man.
No, I mean the weird little spider that just... No?
What?
It ran away.
Should we chase it?
Do you think we can keep up? It went around the corner. We could go see. I don't... Grim will kind of half jog over and look around the corner to see if it's still over there.
You do not see it down the alley.
But like 5 or 6 feet away from the corner because he doesn't want to like run into it or its web.
You don't see it in the
I was kind of turn around and shrug like, it's gone.
Okay. All right.
What do you suppose that was all about?
No idea. Back to shopping. And they go to the magic store. The fancy light store.
M&M?
Yep.
Okay, so you go back to the front. All right, you stand before a nicely carved wooden door with a sprig of holly and yew hanging above the threshold from a little clip.
Is there any significance to that, to magic or warding or anything?
Uncertain.
Grim will open the door.
All right, you open and a heavy waft of incense comes over you. Various spices and kind of flowery smells and sage.
The smell of culture.
That's one word for it.
You step into a mostly dim shop.
It smells like a church on Sunday.
I don't smell anything.
Just breathing in the smoke and exhaling it.
The left side of the store has like stacked like furniture, forms of like cabinets, like pieces that you would have like in your front entryway that have like a couple drawers and like legs. There's some of those, and they're kind of like stacked up to make like shelves essentially. And on the top of those, probably at about 7 feet up, are just a series of what look like taxidermied ravens standing on like sprigs of wood. Then there's like a 2 or 3 foot little aisle, then a shelf, then another like 2 or 3 foot aisle, then a shelf or shelves that run back towards the back of the store, and then another 2 or 3 foot aisle, and then one of those like alchemy like walls that's all just like shelves that you can pull out and like grab in like various sizes, like big ones, little itty bitty ones, like a pharmacist or a alchemist thing, or like the guy from Spirited Away who runs the boiler room. The front of the shop has a bunch of little tables with all sorts of like talismans and knickknacks and like Dreamcatcher-esque things just all over. Crystals in various places, candles on everything, mostly normal candles, but you do see some candles hanging on little like little 3 chains going down to like a metal dish with like a candle on it that has a green flame or a blue flame. Some of them are shifting in colors in various places. And then
shifting color flame.
In the back you see an old wooden countertop with various knickknacks and plants around it. The entire store is dusty. There are books stacked everywhere, other boxes, mostly near the like alchemist's wall. There's a bunch of boxes and crates, kind of helter-skelter. Like you'd have to kind of pick your way through, almost like a crazy thrift store type place or old pawn shop kind of thing. And you see like a beaded curtain at the back wall.
Can I look around, see if I see anything interesting?
None of what I described was interesting. Damn it.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
sure,
well.
but like I'm not interested in dream catches, for instance. Shae
Grim
would
is
be
fixated on the ravens.
Okay,
I'm
He
gonna
just
look.
likes them.
go ahead.
I'm gonna look for a little bit of talc, some powdered silver, and bat guano.
Okay. You imagine those are probably in the big shelf, or the big drawer thing, the library drawers.
And strangely, those are the same exact items in Grim's Amazon wish list.
All right, so Grim, give me a perception check.
Well, I guess when you roll a 10, it's like a passive, right? 14.
Wait, you have a... Oh, no, you have good perception. All right. every once in a while, when you're kind of looking around them, you get that kind of spooky feeling that like the statue just kind of like moved a little bit, but the raven's little glassy eyes just kind of continue to stare at you, follow you around the room a little bit.
I still have see invisibility, right? It lasts for an hour.
If you actually cast it, then yes.
Oh yeah, I did. I was paranoid AF in the last room or last job.
There is, I don't know if this is actually accurate or not. There are 3 nondescript small humanoid creatures moving around the store that glow in just the, you can just, even with see invisible on, you can just barely see like kind of a faint bluish, like magical, like outline to them.
Do I know what they are?
You think they're like invisible servant type things. And so I was like, I actually don't know if those would be visible from this, but yeah, something like that, some sort of like little summoned creature, like a non-soul creature, something created purely by magic.
All right, I will warn Shae and Grim. They have their spirits moving around in here. 3 of them, tiny.
They're probably about the size of like they're probably about the size of a gnome. They completely nondescript though. Every once in a while, one will change one of the candles, and what they do is they touch it, and that's when the flame changes to a new color, and they'll kind of shift stuff around very quietly here and there.
That is very cool.
You hear a little bit of like rummaging from the alchemist's wall. You don't see anything over there, but just like a kind of sounds, you know.
Someone over there is rolling dice?
Like someone digging through something. Someone's digging through something, it sounds like.
Digging through dice. Grim's still staring at Ravens.
I approach, not readying a spell, but ready to cast a spell.
Okay. When you get over there, you don't see anything. There's no one there. There's no, like, even, like, hunch down, you don't see anyone. And you're kind of like, that's weird. And you start to look away. And then you notice that in one of the drawers, like one of the big drawers kind of at the bottom shelf, very near your feet, so you didn't notice it at first because it's kind of like next to a stack of books on the ground. That's a trip hazard and against OSHA regulations and ADA. But you see a big, bushy, kind of black or dark brown and lighter brown or gray striped tail. Big, puffy tail and a back end of a creature with little paws, and the front end of the creature is in the drawer. And you hear the rummaging sound again.
Like a giant ass raccoon?
It's a
tail?
it's a fluffy raccoon, yeah.
All right.
And then after a moment, it wriggles backwards out of the drawer, and you are presented with a raccoon with sprigs of something in its hands, like little like spell component ingredients in its little paws, and it puts those in a little basket next to it, and they look old and dried, and there's fresher ones next to that, and it grabs those and puts those in the drawer, but it's looking at you the whole time. And I don't know if you've ever seen a raccoon where it like is watching whatever it's doing while also using its paws for whatever, or if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy when Rocket is making anything, because it's completely accurate to how raccoons are. What's interesting about this fluffy little raccoon is he is wearing a vest and like a little bellboy's cap.
What are you?
And he just kind of looks at you. And he cocks his head, and he puts the fresh herbs in the drawer.
I'll yell throughout the store, there's a raccoon with a vest stealing ingredients!
That'll get Grim's attention away from the Ravens, and he'll look over like, what? Oh shit, that's a giant-ass raccoon.
It's like a normal-sized raccoon.
Oh. Oh shit, that's a normal-sized raccoon.
He's a little pudgy, but...
Wearing a vest!
In a vest!
And a hat.
The hat's not so unusual. I mean, around here, raccoons typically go for headdress fashion.
I've never seen a raccoon only wearing a vest.
I have never seen a raccoon.
What?
You are missing out. They are fantastic.
Meidrax will lunge at the raccoon and try to grab it.
It dives into the drawer, and the door shuts behind it.
Roll initiative.
I want that raccoon.
Wait, and it squeals as it does. And from the back, you hear a little bit of noise, and you hear the beaded curtain part with like a tinkling sound that almost echoes more than glass beads would. And you see a woman in what I will describe as Vistani style garb. She's got big, poofy, like black, wavy, or not wavy, curly hair. She has a bandana on, and from here in the candlelight, it looks like she has like a reddish complexion to everything, and bright eyes that kind of stare out, and a big smile, almost like a cat-like smile, like. And she folds her hands over and she says, "Welcome to Minerva's Menageries. What can I do for you?"
You have a raccoon in your drawer.
She says,
Yes, Widget is restocking the shelves. We got some new herbs in.
I'm very confused.
I think he was supposed to be wearing an apron and not a vest. That's fine.
Oh, that makes it a lot better. Yeah. Suddenly
Does that
the
change the type of hat?
No, he's wearing like a store clerk apron that goes around his nose. He has the bellboy cap on for sure, but like he's got a full apron on that ties around the back and also loops around his neck.
An apron and a vest?
No, he's not wearing the vest. I forgot he was wearing an apron instead of the vest. So that's my bad.
Apron retcon. Okay, no, I'm with you now.
It's your raccoon?
Yes, he works around the store for scraps. And also because I say so. I don't know.
Good thing you didn't kill him, Meidrax.
Yeah, I suppose it is good. Are you Minerva?
Yes, I am Minerva.
I'm sorry, the raccoon's name was Widget?
Widget, yes.
Okay.
You have an amazing store.
I do what I can.
These
What
ravens are extraordinary.
Now please, come, tell me what the fates dictate that you must buy today. Or what help do you need?
We're new in town, so we're mostly just looking around at the moment. What kind of stuff do you sell around here?
Are you just yelling to her from like the front of the store?
Yeah, well, yeah.
She says, I deal with the bizarre and the arcane. Those goods which are not so normal on the shelves.
Would you have something for preventing mummy rot?
I suggest removing curses, yes.
Ah, not like a pendant or a magic hat.
No, hats are no good for mummy rot. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking to prevent the rot, not just cure it. I can do that already. I was just hoping to avoid the rot.
See, if mummy rot were a disease, then yes, we could give you a talisman of health or something. But
Not like a mummy rot condom.
no, curses are tricky business. Even for one in the business of trickery.
Yeah, fair. How tricky is the business of these ravens? Really, really like these ravens.
She says, "Oh, if you would like a raven, we can talk prices."
We travel a lot. I really don't know if, a pet is the best idea for me. I just really, really like them.
They are all very well trained. They just sit there, unmoving.
Notice that.
As the group laughs, all the ravens begin to laugh too and caw out as they move around and flex.
What?
She says, "Okay, so now they."
So really, how much would a raven be?
Those ravens.
Like maybe I don't need a fancy raven. I'm not looking for the Cadillac of ravens. Maybe like the Hyundai of ravens.
Those ravens are actually not for sale.
Oh, well, you said price was right. If it was, then maybe. I don't want to pressure you to get rid of your pets. I just really, really like your ravens. Something about them calms me.
They have their purposes, including raven feathers, which they give willingly in exchange for seed. But an entire raven is too much of a cost.
I'm looking for sort of a emotional support raven, really.
I suggest friends.
Oh, wait, are those ravens cawing in the background somewhere? Tell me I'm not the only one hearing that.
No, it sounds like a crow.
Yeah, that was over here. I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome.
I'm amazed my mic can pick that up.
Your mic picks
That
up
was-
everything.
That was like perfect timing to have something crowing in the background while we're talking about ravens. That was badass.
What's funny is your mic sometimes doesn't pick up you as well as it does pick up like literally anything outside your window.
Right?
going?
I am in need of a few spell components. Oh, by the way, I am Meidrax Nexmonis with the Jewelers Guild of House Labara.
She says, "Oh, that is lovely. I deal in a fair bit of jewelry myself. If you are interested in any pieces," and she kind of gestures around, you see the walls are actually filled with like necklaces and like those little like what are they called? Like jewelry trees where like there's rings and like earrings hanging from them because they're like a fabric. Like every inch of wall space is taken up by something. Every inch of flat surface of like shelf is taken up by something. And she says, Mostly I deal in talisman and magics of warding and magics of non-warding.
Well, I just need a little talc, some powdered silver, and some guano.
Do you have a list?
That was the list.
She like a written list.
A what?
A written list
Oh,
is what she's asking for.
no, I don't have much parchment or paper.
Okay, that's all you need. Widget, wait, where did he go? And Widget, another drawer somewhere, not the drawer he went into, but another drawer, much too small for Widget, opens, and he starts shimmying out of it, and like kind of poofs out of it because it's like a toothpaste tube, and he kind of plops out and rolls across the floor, and he scuttles over to you on his back legs, just like a little person, and he's holding out little brown parchment wrapped packages, and there's 3 of them, like a little powder packages and whatnot. And she says, "That should be good for a while, yes?"
Yeah, I guess. I'll kneel down. How much do I owe you?
Let us say 3 silver for 3 packages.
Sounds like a good deal. Can't be easy getting guano here.
No, I have a deal with the bats. It is not so terrible.
She probably has well-trained bats in another room.
Do you sell... oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask how many castings these packages would give me.
Do you not have a component pouch?
No, I have a foci. Just in case it gets stolen or something,
Yeah.
I won't back up.
Do you know the cost of a focus pouch by chance? Or a component pouch?
I can look it up real quick. You go ahead, Lex.
I was wondering if you sell anything that might store spells or something like that.
She smiles big, and you see the teeth for the first. Where are you in the store? Have you guys at all approached her, or are you still just at the front of the store?
I've moved over. Yeah.
Okay, so you're up at the thing. As you have approached, you see that she is it's hard to guess her age. She's a fairly attractive woman. She's got the bandana kind of like right at the front of her hair, and she's kind of got like the Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of look to her hair and whatnot. But as you move closer, you see that it is not the candlelight. Her skin is red, and as you talk to her, she smiles, and she has 2 fangs at the top of her teeth, and her eyes kind of flicker a little bit. She, for all intents and purposes, to you, appears to be a demon.
You must really work on your tan.
She says, everything you see is all natural. Just like in the store, all of these ingredients.
Well, that suits you very nicely, Shae says with a smile. And she likes I want to position myself so that Grim and Meidrax can't really see my face, but she can. And then I'm going to use my mask of many faces to make my eyes a bit yellower and my skin a bit greener. Just for a moment so that she can see it.
To remove, you mean, or are you adding to it? Are you enhancing what would normally be there, or are you...
Removing a bit.
Removing, that's what I thought, okay. You're removing the foundation, the cover-up, as you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for a bit, and then I put it back on.
She smiles and she says, "Yes, I think you would find Grensmotte is unlike many towns, for a girl like me. Tieflings are not always the most welcome." And it stands to reason that none of you have ever seen a tiefling. They are exceedingly rare, and usually incredibly frowned upon.
Yeah, is this town bad with people who look somewhat differently?
It was founded by an orc. I would say unusual runs in our blood. Some of our blood runs a little hotter than others. You can see like a deep fire behind her eyes. Like literal like fire in her eyes, not like she means what she says, but like literally like hell in her veins.
Very nice. You have very nice eyes.
You also now notice the horns under the bandana for the first time. They're kind of buried in the hair.
Mm-hmm. So do you have anything that could store spells?
I do. The price though is not cheap. Shopping day.
Oh, by the way, yeah, a component pouch costs 25 gold.
That's what I thought.
I have a component pouch, don't I?
I don't know. I don't know what you use.
Oh no, those are just evil spell components. Those
ones
are in a
from
pouch.
The ones
Yeah.
from the paladin,
Yeah. No, I guess you could use that pouch, right?
I suppose.
Probably not, actually.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, you can certainly try. But,
Hey, Shae, why don't you show her those shards? See what she thinks.
Alright, I'll do that once I feel the attention of a higher being has returned to the store. Good call, though.
Should I try to sell this wand? I mean, I only have one spell that it can affect.
Oh, I have that evil mace, too. I could sell that shit.
Well, we just gotta dump all our magic stuff on her.
Hey, she looks like she might be interested.
alright, she says,
Bankrupt her.
All our evil magic stuff.
for the ring of spell storage. And she opens her hand just kind of with a little bit of flair, and sitting on her palm it looks like almost like a rolled up piece of parchment, but it is a metal ring. And she says, I think 3,000 gold is about as cheap as I can go for you.
May I see that? May I hold it?
She eyes you for a moment and kind of tips her hand so that it's in her fingers, and she places it in your palm.
I pull out my little scope and start inspecting it.
Okay. It looks exactly like the one on page 192 of the Dungeon Master's Guide.
With the like brain thing, and that looks cool.
No. Ring of Spell Storage is it's like it looks like two loops of like one like long piece of parchment and kind of looped up. I think it actually goes on like two fingers. It looks like on this.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking mind shielding.
No. There you go.
Okay, that is some delicate work.
She says it is very rare that I can acquire an item of such exquisite manufacture.
I hand it back to her. It's rare anyone can get their hands on something like that.
She says, I have been fortuitous. My research as an arcanist has provided me many opportunities to provide those of our ilk as much as I have. If you need something, and there is a good chance it is available to me, without you having to go all the way to the capital.
Well, it's a very nice ring, but way out of our price range.
Speaking of,
Her hand snaps shut on it. She says, very well.
since we have so few funds, have you heard of any work or have any work near or around town?
Work around town, it depends on what you are capable of.
We're capable of a lot.
There's one thing to say, it is another to be able to demonstrate. I would hate to send novices to their death for simply a bauble.
Well, this is Shae, and we are the good guys. Have you not heard of us? Shae is the hero of Baytown.
She looks over and says, there are not many heroes of Baytown, all things considered.
Yeah.
Grim absentmindedly says there isn't much left of Baytown, all things considered.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yes, darling, that is the joke.
So you've heard about Baytown.
I have seen it, yes.
Did you hear of what happened a few nights ago?
Yes, you allowed it to be destroyed.
Ouch!
We did not allow anything.
She says, there's one
They
thing.
invaded. Meidrax is visibly getting angry.
Calm down, calm down. Speaking of the destruction of Baytown, I picked up the remnants of a sword, which we think is either cursed or evil. If I pull it out, can you tell us some more about it?
She says, I will look at it, yes.
Thank you. And I carefully pull out the bag and put it on the counter, open, making sure that I don't touch the shards.
She looks in the bag, and she says, if you wish me to do a reading, the ingredients will not be free.
What are the price range we're talking about then?
She says, 5 gold and I will be able to tell you most of what you need to know about this item. For 25 gold, I will reach into its very spirit and pull its secrets from the ether.
I'll start with 5 and see what we're up with, and hand her 5 gold.
She leans over to nothing and whispers something, And after a little while, a bowl comes floating. As she's kind of looking in the bag, a bowl comes floating through, and you see various powders and things that have been dropped into the bowl. And she sets that down in front of her. And she mutters an incantation to herself or some sort of whatnot, and her hand glows a little bit. And she reaches into the bag, and she takes the handle in her hand, and she her eyes close shut very, very tight when she touches it, and she pauses, and then she breathes a kind of a sigh, like, and then she takes the handle in both hands, and she places it on top of the bowl, and she snaps her like hand and finger down at it, and as she snaps, fire erupts from the ingredients of the bowl and just begins to burn across the handle, and then the fire spreads and just burns literally across the entire handle, so it's just engulfed in flame, and the flames are like a light bluish color. And she places her hand completely flat and palm down, just hovering over it, and the flames are licking through her fingers and whatnot, and her eyes are still closed, and she is kind of like muttering to herself as she reads the item, and then the flames go out, and just a little bit of smoke rises from the back of her palm, or from the back of her hand, and she opens her eyes and she says, "This is a sword of great evils, forged in another world, a world of demons, carved from the very stuff that the mountains of hell cough forth. There is a very strong curse upon this item that will cause great pain to any who wield it. Not only the physical and magical pain, but mental anguish that will tear you apart if you are unfit to wield it.
Oh boy.
But it is powerful. It is a weapon that could conquer kingdoms.
Is there a way to remove the curse?
I fear that even if it were to be removed, it would grow back. Perhaps more dangerous than before, because it would be unexpected."
Do you know of any way to destroy it?
She thinks for a moment, and she says, "Powerful magic could probably destroy it. Putting it back where it came from, back into the fires of hell, would certainly be able to melt it again."
Hey, sounds like plotline for episode 14.
She picks it up with 2 fingers and drops it back in the bag.
Thank you.
Grim hears what she said, and he absentmindedly reaches up to his tongue like, oh hell.
Well, thank you for your insight.
It is what I do. I am a seer.
Have you ever seen anything called the Veil? A group of people?
You might have to be more specific, darling.
They're a group of cultists called the Bell. They worship something called the Great Old One.
Do they? Did I say that?
You said their benefactor. Oh, that's true. Their benefactor, not their god.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I wouldn't have used that exact phrasing. She says, I have not been looking for such things. I tend to keep out of the workings of cult, lest a demon worshipper get the wrong idea about me, or perhaps seek me out for their own purposes. It is not easy being red.
Okay.
I could look at.
How did you know about the destruction of Baytown?
I saw it when I was scrying. In fact, if you wish to enlist my services, I would be more than happy to attempt to look in on this. But as I said, it is a danger to me, and it will not come cheap.
No, but if you hear of anything, please seek us out. We're currently staying at Tessa's tap room.
She says, well, I would hope that nothing so prominent happens that I will hear of them in the next day or so. But perhaps if you are here and cause trouble, who knows?
Oh, I appreciate your time, Minerva.
So that's a firm no on the Ravens?
She says, I need them.
But just, like, do you have a troublemaker Raven? Maybe one that's hard to train?
Oh, yes. No, all of them. They are just terrible people. No manners whatsoever at the dinner table.
If I were to stop back maybe next week, would you have one that you could offer for sale? Seriously, looking for this kind, I'm surprised at how much I want a Raven right now.
I very much suggest you buy a net, and then you take the net into the woods.
The wild ravens are assholes, though. I want one of these ravens. I am not a raven trainer. I'm more of a raven purchaser.
Do not want these ravens. These are your kind of ravens.
If I were to net a raven, could I bring it to you for training?
I do not know how to train birds.
But these were... You didn't train these ravens?
No, they just sit here.
Okay. Are they actual ravens?
Well, that is a story for another time. Questions cost money. And she kind of claps her hands together and puts them to the side of her face and kind of cocks her head. And they like, yes. You will find one thing in Grensmotte, I fear. And it is that our time is not cheap. Our product is good, but...
If you could point me in one final direction, and I'll produce a gold coin and set it on the counter and say...
She points left.
I'll say, where is a pet store in Grensmotte?
There is no pet store. And she pushes the coin back to you. She says, but there are stables.
I don't imagine stables house ravens.
No. Ravens have fallen out of use for everyone but wizards, perhaps.
Grim ignores the gold coin on the counter and gives one last glance up to the awesome ravens.
They're all staring at you.
Sort of dejectedly walks out the front door like there's nothing left here for him.
I pick up the gold coin.
They begin cawing in chorus, as if laughing as you leave.
And there's a special kind of hurt. Like a deep psychological pain. I take 3 emotional damage.
She says, come back if you have any magical needs.
Find us if you have any jobs.
Oh, jobs, yes. How are you
There's a magical posting board.
Yeah.
at exploring ancient ruins and not dying and bringing me things?
I never have, but I've heard story of these two defeating a mummy.
Oh, yes, that is how you get mummy rat, of course.
That was fun when we did it. Of course, I wasn't the one that got mummy rot, so...
Was this a forest mummy? A plains mummy? A mountain mummy? Desert mummy? The desert mummies are the easiest. But they can also be the oldest. It's very weird.
It was one of those shambling dead ones.
Yes, dear, a mummy. Okay, that is fine. She puts mummy in air quotes when she replies.
Grim comes back inside and says, do you have any birdseed?
She says, you can try to get it from them. I do not know if they will let it go easily. They are very sharp.
You don't sell it, though.
No.
Damn it. And he walks back outside.
I have many seeds, but not for birds. She says, if you are able to delve into deepest dungeons and darkest holds, there are secrets and treasures that I would be very, very interested in. And since you are not simple caravan guards, and perhaps more prone to adventure, then perhaps you are less prone to dying.
Do you have root?
I'm sorry, you both spoke at the same time, and I couldn't hear either of you. Shae?
Sorry, I thought I was muted and I was muttering to myself.
That happens. Meidrax?
Where are these ruins you have in mind?
All over. The entire neck is full of ancient ruins and remnants of the Daxian Empire. Some discovered, some not so discovered.
Very well. If you hear of any locations we can travel to and help us, please let us know.
She produces a scroll of parchment from kind of like under her silks, and she says, "Yes, I have the map." She lays it out. She says, "You go."
Yeah, sure. Can we keep the map, or should we copy it?
She says you can borrow map
Cool, thank you.
until you come back. So again, you cannot die because I need the map back.
Duly noted.
So the map is of the neck, and the neck is. Let me open my map. The neck is the entire region between the 2 big lakes. So basically, I think I showed you generally where Grensmotte and Stilken are, but essentially just draw a line between the top of the lake and the top of the lake, and then the border of Altara and Jerum. That is the neck. And she has maybe about like 5 little X's marked in various places, and she says, these are the ones that we know about, the ones that have been explored, the ones I am not so much interested in. However, I have seen an item I very much wish to have. A jade creature inlaid with gold.
Okay. Where is that?
It is in undiscovered ruins. Somewhere here. And she points one like perfectly manicured finger down. It's She's pointing somewhere near the coast of the Darumside Lake, a little bit north of Grensmotte, a little bit to the west. She says, I do not know exactly where the ruins are, but you will find them. And when you do, and you find this piece, I wish it to be brought to me, and I will reward you for its safe return.
Okay.
How many days' journey do you think that would be?
It depends on how good at searching you are. The coast is only a few hours away. And she points and she says, there are also remnants of ruins down here to the south. Perhaps they will provide a clue.
Sounds like it's worth investigating.
She says there is a chance that even Grensmotte is built upon the ancient ruins of something we will never know about. The mayor frowns on digging at night for things.
Well, we will certainly investigate that. Thank you for your time.
She lets the map roll up, and she pushes it to you, and says, have fun and good luck. Please do not die. I would very much like to have this, and it is a hassle to send more people.
Okay.
Hassle for me, hassle for you, hassle for the necromancers. It's this whole thing.
Necromancers?
Don't worry about it. I promise to take very, very good care of your skeletons.
Shae will take the map and thank Minerva and leave the store.
As you leave the store, your eyes can't help but kind of notice the occasional humanoid skull here and there, and some bones around. She waves and says, come again.
Yeah, you too. And she walks out.
Did we just make a pact with a demon?
Yes.
I don't know if we made the pact, but
I think we
definitely...
became like this is like the D&D version of becoming an organ donor. I think we just gave her our skeletons when we die. Grim is outside, like, really upset that he couldn't get a raven, and now all he wants in life is a fucking raven.
Oh, shit, we didn't find out where the shrine is.
Shit, she wouldn't sell me a raven.
Was she a demon?
As far as you know.
Demon? Grim never got close. He's like, what the fuck?
Shae?
Maybe it's a good thing I didn't buy a raven from her. Maybe those weren't ravens.
Well, if she was a demon, she was at least a friendly one. So
I
I'm
think
okay
that's...
with that.
You guys didn't
That's
agree to
a
hand over
perception.
your skeletons in exchange for service, did you? Because, I mean, that would be bad.
Well, she did offer. She did suggest that we could hand that over instead for a raven, but
Really?
I mean, in fairness, this is essentially a health benefit plan from an employer, if you look at it properly.
Bahal care.
All right. I did not like her. But you, Shae, you seem to
She's my favorite.
catch the fancy of all of these women.
it's my city charm.
You want shitty chicken?
It's,
It
where
helps,
to
it
next?
helps when you don't always get angry all the time. You want to go to a church or a shrine, right?
Yes.
Right. How about we go to the center of town? I'm sure that's usually where.
The center of town is essentially where Tessa's tap room is. And Minerva's Manor, so it's like right, basically where you're standing is essentially the town square.
We are
I
downtown.
point-
Town is not huge.
I point in the direction where the guardhouse was supposed to be. Anyone want to go visit the guardhouse with me?
Not really. Then go
We
for
have
it.
ravens there?
They may.
Sure, I'm in.
I'll follow you, but I'm not going to enter.
Okay. You head down the street towards one of the other walls, and at the end of the street and built into the wall is what appears to be like a big barracks house with a bit of a tower that looks out over the wall. In front of it is a modest like practice yard, a little bit muddy and churned up obviously by the rain. There are two young-ish looking men in very damp clothing, but essentially they're soaked through, and they're kind of shivering, and they're standing with the shields on their arms in the mud, and they have a sword in their hands, and it appears that weights are tied to the handle of their swords, and they're standing there with them kind of held out, and they're shivering and shaking a little bit. They're off to the side of the door a little ways. You also see that down here there is a set of stables There is a gate leading out, although it is heavily barred from here. And there is also another building of modest stone that appears like it might be a shrine, and you base that on the fact that the symbol of Feral adorns the wall. Alrighty, so what are we doing?
Approaching the guardhouse.
Okay.
So there is like a gate and fence around it, right?
It's a very low, like 2 timber, like fence between posts around the yard. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will walk up to it and hail the guards.
They do not answer. Their eyes kind of flick to you, but they look like they're straining against the weights of the on their swords.
Okay. Can we get into the shrine, or do we have to go through the gate?
The only gate around you is the gate that leads out through the wall to outside.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had that confused. Okay. So yeah, I'll just walk in.
Okay, so the shrine is basically you just walk through a stone threshold, and you have to turn a corner and go around a little wall to get into the shrine proper. And it looks like inside is a very nicely made silver suit of armor with various candles. A couple are lit here and there. There are some flowers and herbs scattered about. There is a bowl on a pedestal in front of the armor that appears to have cool, clear water in it. And then there is also a metal box essentially attached to the wall behind you across from the suit of armor that looks like it would be like a donation box.
There's no one in here.
No. And it's essentially just like a small enough alcove that like it's the suit of armor and enough room for like maybe like 2 of you to stand comfortably with a third person kind of behind looking in.
Okay. Well, I will walk in and say a small prayer. And are there no other doors or?
No, it's literally just this alcove.
Okay. Well, I turn to them. I guess we're not gonna get much help here.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, I guess I'll leave and head over to the guardhouse.
Okay.
Knock, knock, knock.
You hear a little bit of noise on the other side of the door and a voice calling out, and you kind of miss the first part of it, so you don't know what he was saying, but the part that you catch is like, I told you couldn't come back in until you were done. Captain's orders. And then the door opens, and a kind of somewhat portly, older guy, maybe like 40s, in tunic and like leather armor, opens the door, and he looks kind of exasperated, and then he looks surprised, and he says, "Oh,
I've never been here before.
thought you were those two.
No, I am Meidrax Nexmonis with the Jewelers Guild of House Labara.
What can I do for you, jeweler?"
I'm hoping to get some martial training. I kind of gesture to my belly, which isn't, it's not fit. It's not an 8-pack or a 6-pack or anything. He's spent the last 20 years at a desk working on jewelry.
But you're still a Dragonborn, so it's still actually pretty well assembled.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. Yeah.
The scale pattern looks like a 6-pack.
He kind of looks you over and says, "Well, are you looking to enlist? 'Cause someone like you is better than the 2 of them," he shouts out into the kind of drizzling rain.
No, not to enlist, but to seek some training with the blade and to test my mettle.
He kind of scratches at the beard, relatively neatly kept, and he says, "I don't know that we really offer classes per se.
Perhaps those 2 would be able to assist me.
Those 2 couldn't assist a horse in galloping."
They sound like the perfect opponents for someone that hasn't wielded a sword in decades.
Says, "As much as I would love to see them get beat up, Captain says they gotta stay out there all day, and she's the boss.
Is there any way I can just join them?
You wanna stand out with weights?
Oh,
They're being punished, they're not training."
I misinterpreted what they were doing. I am sorry.
So it's what happens when you get drunk in town day before your shift. Captain don't take kindly to Stupidity.
Well, perhaps I could meet with the captain. Not right now, but arrange something to talk to her.
Yeah, I think she's, meeting with the mayor right now. Something about the business down in Baytown. I think she'll be back in a little while.
Well, please tell her that Meidrax Nexmonis and Shae and the good guys were here, and that Meidrax, I seek an appointment with her.
Why don't you come back after lunch? She should be available.
I will. Thank you for your time.
He kind of nods, and he opens the door a little bit further so he can lean out past you, and yells out, 12 more hours, lads! And he kind of chuckles and shuts the door.
All right. So, where to next?
I think we've looked at all the interesting bits, right?
We still have not visited Grin's Goods, the smithy.
All right.
And to be honest, I could use a new set of clothing if we see a tailor.
Okay.
Let's go see the smithy. My chainmail's getting tight. I think it's shrinking in this coastal environment.
It's important to note that also there were like robes and other vestments in Minerva's as well.
Looking for more like the traveling, like a tunic and vest and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay, where to?
To the smithy then. And if we find a tailor on the way, we'll stop there.
Well, the smithy is pretty much at the center of town. So you have not walked past a tailor yet as you go back to it. So this one has a large sign on it that says Gren's Goods. It has like a painted set of armor on it and a sword on the sign. Like 3 separate signs, like one hanging from the next. You can hear the clanging of hammers on anvils in the back, but it appears that perhaps if they have like a working yard, then it is at least walled in, because this building looks fairly significant, even if the roof is only for part of it. There's big double doors leading into the main building.
To the main building then?
Yeah.
Okay. As you walk in, it immediately looks like a well-kept weapon and armor shop in like a video game, right? There are weapons on the walls. There are suits of armor on like mannequins and stands. Various pieces highlighted here and there. Full suits. Most imaginable weapons that you would expect to find kind of normally. The more exotic stuff is like maybe like a glaive or like that kind of business. It's mostly more kind of normal swords and whatnot. Some of them are a little bit nicer than others. There are weapon racks with like spears and other such things on them. There are several people behind a big counter, and they appear to be mostly working in ledgers. One is talking to like maybe a customer of sorts or something. It looks like maybe a caravan guard trying to get his sword either replaced or repaired or something like that. It appears that the hammering and whatnot is coming from the back beyond their little walkway behind the counter. Yeah, and as you come in, someone greets you with a welcome to Gren's Goods, finest armor and weapons in all of Altara.
Hello. My name is Meidrax Nexmonis. I'm with the Jewelers Guild of House Labara.
The one talking is someone who looked up from their ledger, and when you kind of like announce yourself weirdly, the rest of them kind of look up, even though the other customer kind of looks over, and they say, or he says, "Yeah, what can we do for you?"
I'm looking at my weapons and what I can wield, what I'm proficient with. I'm looking for a well-crafted dagger.
Well, we certainly have a...
Something that can last several days or several fights.
Well, I can assure you we have some of the finest daggers you're like to find. And he gestures you towards the counter, and it's actually got a display case component to it, and it's just all manner of knives for hunting, for kitchen work and skinning, several for like actual daggers, some throwing daggers, all levels of make and design. Some with gold filigree, some with silvered edges, some with various ornaments, including gems in the pommel. Some that are more just like, this is your trusty dagger.
I'll point to one of the ones with the gems. Where did you get that work done?
He says, one of our craftsmen does most of our jewel cutting.
Do you ever rent time or lease your forge for other crafters?
He says, we can certainly make arrangements if you have work to be done. We, in fact, also sell materials for those looking for some time. We understand that people on the road are often just in need of a place to get some work done.
Indeed. I have some ideas, but I'm afraid I don't have the coin quite yet to craft what I want. Would you know of any jobs, brave adventurers like us? And I motion towards the two other, Grim and Shae. Any work in town or around the area that we might be able to look into for you?
He says, we don't really deal in that kind of thing. We have a pretty good relationship with some of the caravans that come through, but short of guard work, for those we don't really anything. If he kind of gestures to the rest of you and says, if you are a crew of guards, then perhaps we could talk about guarding any shipment of goods on the road, but...
Well, our next destination is Stilken. If you hear of any...
Oh, we have nothing going to Stilken, no.
Is there like out of character? Is there like an animosity in his voice or something?
No, it's more just like Stilken is a tiny fucking fishing town of like 10 people.
Okay.
There would be no reason for them to be sending, anything there. No, we mostly would be looking for shipments to be sent to the capital, other larger cities, some exporting to Darum.
Well, we're not headed that way currently, but may in time. If you hear of any serious work, anything that needs blades and sorcery, please find us. We're currently staying at Tessa's tap room.
Yeah, sure, mister. Guess if I hear anything.
Yeah, Meidrax is done in here. Anything else? Shae, Lex, or Grim?
No, I don't need anything.
Do you have any stretchy armor?
Kind of looks at you and says, like chainmail that would flow with you, or like leather that...
Yeah, so Grim kind of points at his midsection and he's like, yeah, it's getting a little bit tight. I mean, ever since I got into town, the food here is fantastic, by the way. But ever since I got here, I don't know if it's the climate, maybe it's shrinking, but it's just not fitting the way it used to.
Well, we can certainly tailor armor to you, sir.
Never had tailored armor before.
After a moment, since you kind of sound interested, he'll get out his ledger and says, well, if you'd like to place a custom order, we can certainly do that. We also do repairs of your current, but it sounds like perhaps you're in the market for a new set.
Yeah, maybe. What's a new set run? Give or take.
She says, well, are you looking for chainmail? Something a little heavier like a breastplate? We even make some of the finest half plate and, of course, full plate. And he gestures to a really nice like set of like steel plate armor.
Meidrax is currently just tapping it with his claw, inspecting the craft of it.
It's solid. It's not ornate, but it is good armor.
Huh.
Do you work with dark iron?
Everyone kind of stops and looks up at you. We don't sell dark iron here, no. But if anyone could work with it, it'd be young Gren. Whether he would or not, you'd have to ask him yourself.
Is there somewhere he likes to drink to unravel for the day?
There's kind of a chuckle amongst the guys. No, young Gren doesn't drink or unravel, or unwind. Right now, he, I believe, had business with the mayor, but I'm sure we'll be back this afternoon.
I'll go back to tapping the armor.
So, sir, what kind of commission work can I get started for you?
You know, I should probably come back after we get jobs.
He kind of goes a little crestfallen, like, oh. Yes, we...
Just out of curiosity, ballpark a new set of chainmail for me.
He kind of looks you over real fast and says, 50 gold?
Okay. All right, well, at least now I know what to save up for.
Yeah, he says, Oh wait, I'm sorry. That is not chainmail. That's a chain shirt. 75 gold for chainmail. He says,
Oh.
that's our going rate for a set of chainmail, unless you have any specific requests.
Got it. Note to self, 75 gold. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sorry, the 50 is a chain shirt. That's my bad. I always forget that there's 2 chain things in this.
I was thinking that was a real Old Navy kind of price on chainmail.
I always, like, as soon as I open it, I go straight to the middle of the page, which is where chainmail is.
That's the back to war scale, back to war sale.
So that's, of course, your 13 plus dex modifier max of 2, no penalty to stealth. Chainmail is, of course, penalty to stealth, requires strength 13, and is a 16 AC. And then after that, there's splint and then plate.
Yay! Plate. Plate would be nice.
Plate would be expensive.
Plate with a shield.
Yep, that's 20 AC.
Plate with one of those fancy expanding mechanical shields. And a raven.
20 AC when it works.
Grim is daydreaming.
Alright, Shae is the only person neither daydreaming nor tapping on armor.
Yeah, I'm cool weapons and armor wise, so I don't need anything.
What about those shards?
Well, we just established that it was from this big evil sword thing that no matter what is going to mess us over. So let's not fix it.
We'll take it back to hell instead.
Yeah,
Cast it back into the fires of Mount Doom.
I was just thinking once we leave town, dig a hole somewhere and dump the pieces in there.
Maybe drop it from a boat in the ocean.
Also works.
They may be able to tell us more at the Citadel, is the Citadel in Altar? The cathedral?
I was going to say, I don't know what the Citadel is. There is a cathedral in the capital, yes. The seat of religion in Altara, yeah.
Or they may have the power to destroy it outright,
At least then nobody else could dig it up.
and it can't be divined or found by Mariah.
That's fair. I don't think a couple smiths in a backwater town know anything about that. No offense,
Fair
guys.
enough.
So I'm getting pretty hungry. You guys done here?
Is it lunchtime?
It feels like lunchtime.
Grim could eat.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind trying somewhere else besides Tessa's. I know we're going to go back there tonight, more than likely.
You know, just based on Tessa's being the first place we went, I'm sure there is some fantastic cuisine to be found somewhere in this neighborhood.
Really,
I
all
wonder
I
if
need
they-
is a...
Hey, if I could, like, make a living critiquing food. Huh.
That sounds like nonsense.
But then I'd get paid to eat.
Who's going to pay you to critique food? Who's going to listen?
It's a good question. Let me get a YouTube channel.
You speak in things I do not know of.
Sorry, was that Celestial? My bad.
So let's find a tavern.
I'm in.
Okay.
Well, you know it's not at the center of town, and you know it's not down the first finger of road here. Down the next bit of road, it gets a little bit more into, there's more nondescript buildings. There are, you do see a general goods store that is called, it just says Julius's, and it appears to just be a, whatever you might need for daily life or, to restock traveling supplies and whatnot. And then down,
Is it King Julius's?
no. And then down the way a little bit, kind of near the back wall, there is what appears like it might be a tavern. It has a sign out front that's super dirty and hasn't been repainted in a long time. And it is a mug of ale with kind of like green liquid spilled around it and what appears to be a snake like poking out of the top of the mug. And you kind of just can barely make out what looks like 2 dice at the bottom corner of the sign.
This place does not scream cuisine to me.
No, but it screams fun to me.
And that is where we will end their session.